And we have a third type of a line that we might see. Remember, we'd had lines that cross through both axes, has an x and y intercept. The second case was it goes to the origin. Third case is it only goes through one axis. So what does a graph look like that only goes through one axis? Well, what about the example of y equals -3? This represents a horizontal line. How do I know that? Well, let's play this out. Let's game this out a little bit. Let's say I draw an XY table because I want to find some test points. And so let's say if x is -1, what does y equal? You go, wait a minute, Willie, there's no x in here. That's right, because x doesn't matter. Whatever x is, y will be -3. What about if x was 0? There's no x, so x were 0. It doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. Y is still a -3. And let's try 1 because we like my 3 favorite points. If x were 1, no x, y equals a -3. See what happens there? Let's get a look then. Draw a grid, put a scale on it. Let's find some points that we have here. I have the point -1, down 3. I have the point 0, down 3. 1 and 3 over 1, down 3. Notice that regardless whatever x value I chose, I go down 3, and this produces a horizontal line at the line y equals -3. Now let's look at what a horizontal or a vertical line could possibly look like. Let's try x equals 5. What do you think is going to happen? Well, we can try the same thing. We can draw a little bit of an xy table. XY, that's a y5 table. Don't know where that came from. Let's try an xy table. There we go. So if y were -1, solve that, x would be 5. Y were 0, x would be a 5. Y were a -10 or a +10, x would be 5. And I'm going to choose 1, and so forth. So if we wanted to plot and graph those particular points, and it looks like that regardless whatever value of y I chose, my x value is over at 5. So here's a point 0 and 5, 1 and 5, 10 and 5 is way up here, and over at 5 and -1. All those show on a horizontal line, and that's the line x equals 5. Now, when you see something like x equals 5, before we thought that might be just a point on a number line. That represents that. Well, as we're looking at graphs in 2 dimensions, equations with x and y's, we're getting an equation that's not just a point, but represents all the points, a distance over 5. And so that's a little bit of a difference I want us to be able to add into, is that this is on the graph, the point right there is on the graph, but we're also looking in all the y dimension as well. So we will look at horizontal and vertical lines, and this is kind of what you would expect to see. All right, I think you guys can do really well now, so go get them.